Hey guys, what's up? Have you ever imagined discovering a family secret just by checking Instagram? That's exactly what happened to me. A simple notification completely changed what I knew about my own brother and, honestly, about my entire family. Before I start this crazy story, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. I promise this story will make you think twice before ignoring the DM from someone you don't know. And look, this isn't clickbait. Everything I'm about to tell you really happened to me in the last few months. It all started on a completely normal Tuesday. I had just gotten home from college, thrown my backpack in the corner of my room, and flopped onto my bed. You know that sacred moment of the day when you can finally relax and scroll through your feed with no commitments. That's exactly what I was doing. I was responding to some stories, liking some photos, the basics, when I noticed something strange. There was a DM notification from someone I didn't follow. Normally, I don't care about these because they're usually spam or some fake account trying to sell something. You know how it is. But this time there was something different. The profile seemed totally normal. A girl named Mariana, normal photos, not one of those obvious fake profiles with bikini women and zero posts. And the strangest thing, she had liked several old photos of me with my brother Lucas, like photos from 2-3 years ago. Who goes that deep into someone's profile they don't even know? This already made me suspicious. I spent a good few minutes stalking her profile, trying to figure out if we had any mutual friends or if I should know her from somewhere. Nothing, zero connections. But the profile seemed legitimate with posts dating back to 2018, friends commenting, normal day-to-day stories. That's when I opened the message. And that's when everything started to get really weird. The message said, "Hi, sorry to bother you. Are you Lucas's brother? I really need to talk about something important." My heart immediately started racing. You know how it is, right? When someone comes with this, "I need to talk about something important about a family member," you immediately think of 1,000 things. And Lucas had always been the perfect one in the family. That brother that parents use as an example. Why aren't you organized like your brother? Or look at your brother's grades. Why don't you try that hard? Seriously, he was practically perfect in my parents' eyes. I spent about 20 minutes staring at the screen, thinking of all possible scenarios. What if it was some crazy ex-girlfriend wanting to cause problems? He had ended a relationship a few months ago. Or what if someone was trying to scam me? These days you never know. Or worse. What if my brother was really in some kind of trouble? Curiosity is a crazy thing, isn't it? The more I tried to ignore it, the more I wanted to know. I ended up deciding to respond, but cautiously. I sent a simple, "Yes, I'm his brother. What happened?" The response came almost instantly, as if she had been anxiously waiting. "Your brother has another secret Instagram profile. I think you should know. I don't want to cause problems, but I thought his family needed to be aware. Guys. What do you mean another profile? Why would my brother have a secret profile? And why was this random person telling me this?" My head started spinning with 1,000 possibilities, none of them good. I replied, "What kind of profile? Why are you telling me this?" She wrote, "I've been following him for a few months. I recognized you guys in a family photo you posted last week. I think he wouldn't want his family to know, but after what happened at the last meetup, I got worried." My heart was racing. What meetup? What had happened? Was my brother involved in something illegal? Drugs? Gambling? My God, was he in some weird cult? I asked for the ad of this secret profile, and she sent it. It was a completely random name, nothing to do with my brother, at urban_flight_br. I immediately went to look it up. The profile had a fake name, Alex Source, but the photos. They were definitely him. But in situations I would never have imagined my brother in. My brother, who had always been super discreet, even shy, who studied engineering and spent weekends studying at the library or at friends' houses for projects. was living a completely different life on social media, and I'm not talking about parties or drinking. That would be normal for a 22-year-old college student. No, what I saw was much more shocking. My brother had a profile with over 50,000 followers, where he posted videos doing parkour on abandoned buildings, jumping between buildings, climbing structures without safety equipment, hanging from absurdly high places. That's right, that guy who was afraid to ride roller coasters when we were kids was literally jumping between buildings 20 floors high. I started watching the videos in shock. In one of them, he was running through an abandoned construction site, jumping over a gap of about 3 meters between two buildings, and then hanging from a fire escape, all at a height where, if he fell, it would be certain death. And the comments? All praising his courage, his perfect technique, calling him a legend of Brazilian parkour. Another video showed him sliding down the railing of a giant staircase somewhere that looked like downtown, then jumping to a wall and doing a flip in the air before landing, all filmed by someone running alongside, probably with a GoPro or something. I started connecting the dots. The times he said he was studying at the library until late, the weekends at friends' houses that I didn't know, the torn clothes he said he had ruined tripping on the street, the occasional scratches and bruises he justified with "I hit the corner of the table." It all started to make sense. My brother wasn't the perfect nerd we all thought. He was practically an extreme athlete with a secret life. And that wasn't all. He had an entire community, was part of a group that met in the middle of the night for these extreme adventures. He even had sponsors, sneaker and sportswear brands that sent him equipment. In one of the most recent posts, he was thanking a brand for sending a special parkour shoe. I spent the entire night watching all the videos, reading all the comments, trying to understand who my brother really was. The person I thought I knew so well had been living a double life for at least 2 years, from what I could see on the profile. The worst part? Some of the videos were really scary. There was one where he almost slipped while jumping between two buildings. You could see that he nearly fell. The comments were all, "That was close," or "Be careful, man, that almost went bad." And that's when I understood what this Mariana meant by "after what happened at the last meetup." In the most recent posts, there was a video from 3 days ago where my brother was attempting a particularly dangerous jump and fell, rolling across a metal roof. The camera shook and cut, but you could hear shouts of concern. The next cut showed him sitting, with his arm bleeding, but laughing and saying, "This one goes to the fails. Next time I'll get it." My brother had hurt himself, possibly seriously, and no one in the family knew. He probably treated the wound himself or with the help of these friends I didn't even know. I couldn't sleep properly that night. I kept thinking about what I should do, tell my parents. They would go crazy with worrying. My mom would probably have a heart attack just watching the videos. My dad, who had always been super protective, would completely freak out. Or should I keep the secret? After all, my brother was already an adult. He had the right to his own life. But what if he got seriously hurt? What if something worse happened? Could I live with the guilt of knowing and not having done anything? I spent 3 days in this dilemma. 3 days observing my brother at home, trying to see signs of this other person I discovered he was, and I started noticing things I had never noticed before, like how he had incredibly quick reflexes, once catching a cup that was falling before I even realized it had been knocked over. How his arms had defined muscles that didn't match someone who supposedly only studied all day. How he sometimes would look at structures as if mentally tracing routes through them. On the 3rd day, I couldn't take it anymore. I waited until we were alone at home. When our parents went out to dinner with friends, I called him to talk in my room, closed the door, and simply showed him the profile on my phone. His face. Guys, I'll never forget it. It was a mix of shock, shame, and, surprisingly, relief. As if a weight had been lifted from his shoulders. "How did you find out?" was the first thing he asked. In a low voice, I explained about the message from Mariana. He immediately knew who she was, one of the few girls in the parkour group who who apparently had a crush on him and got scared by the recent accident. "Are you going to tell mom and dad?" he asked, clearly nervous. I answered with another question. "Why did you hide this from everyone?" Why lead a double life? That's when he broke down. He told me he had always felt suffocated by the family's expectations, that he loved engineering, yes, but that he also needed this adrenaline, this freedom. That it started as something small, jumping walls in the park, and evolved. That he found a community where he felt accepted and valued for his skills, not just for his grades. "I never wanted to worry you guys," he said. "And I knew that if I told you, you would make me stop, but this is part of who I am now." He showed me more videos, explained the techniques, how they train safely before trying more dangerous things. He talked about how parkour had discipline, control. It wasn't just craziness as it seemed. And for the first time, I saw a passion in his eyes that I had never noticed before, but I also saw the nasty cut on his arm, still healing from the recent accident. And I knew that, no matter how careful he was, what he was doing was dangerous. We ended up making a deal. He would tell our parents, but with the condition that I would be there to support him. We spent the entire night planning how we would do this, which videos to show first, obviously not the most dangerous ones, how to explain that this didn't mean he was throwing his life away. The conversation with our parents happened the following Sunday. It was tense, as we expected. My mom cried when she saw the first videos. My dad remained silent for a frighteningly long time. There were shouts, accusations of irresponsibility, threats to cut his allowance, as if that would stop someone from jumping from one building to another. But then something unexpected happened. My dad asked to see more videos. He started asking technical questions. My dad had always been a structural engineer. After all, he wanted to know about training, about how they assess the safety of locations. And slowly, I saw his look change from anger to something like reluctant admiration. "You're good at this," he finally said, after watching a particularly impressive video where my brother was doing a complex movement between two walls. "But that doesn't mean we approve of you risking your life." The final agreement was that my brother could continue with parkour, but with conditions: no illegal locations, which eliminated abandoned buildings, proper safety equipment when possible, and he would have to take my dad to meet the group and the training locations. Surprisingly, this ended up bringing my dad and brother closer in a way I never imagined. My dad, who had always been super conservative, started to take an interest in the sport. He even went to watch a parkour event where my brother competed last month. As for my mom, well, she still closes her eyes during the more intense videos, but now proudly shares my brother's posts in family groups. "My son, the athlete," she says, even while still being terrified. And the craziest thing of all? That secret profile at urban_flight_br now has almost 100,000 followers. My brother even got some bigger sponsorships and is thinking about how to reconcile engineering with this parkour career. He even convinced me to try some basic moves. Nothing like jumping between buildings, of course, just simple things on the ground. And I must admit, it's much harder than it looks in the videos. And Mariana, the girl who sent the DM, she and my brother are dating now. She came to dinner at our house last month, and I personally thanked her for telling me. If it wasn't for that random DM, maybe we would never have discovered this important part of my brother's life. Or worse, maybe we would only have found out if something really serious happened. This experience taught me a lot about family, about how sometimes we think we know people completely, but everyone has their hidden facets. About how social media can both hide and reveal who we really are. And you guys, have you ever unraveled a secret like this just through the internet? Have you ever discovered something surprising about someone close through social media? If you have a similar story, subscribe to the channel so we can exchange experiences and comment down below. I want to read everything. And if this video reaches 10,000 likes, next week I'll bring my brother here to the channel for him to tell his version of this story and show a bit of what he does. It's going to be insane. Oh, and if you know someone who has a secret life on social media or who loves family stories, share this video. You never know when a simple message can completely change a family's dynamic, right? Thanks for watching all the way through. See you in the next video.